What's up, everybody? My name is Andrew. I've been watching a lot of different creators here, and I've just been noticing that there's a lot of cool projects that everybody's doing. And you know what? I've got a couple cool projects too. So I was thinking, you know what? There isn't very many people that have machines like I do. So I'll start adding to the repertoire. So today I'm going to walk you through basically just me cleaning up my workbench before I start actually working on a compressor that I purchased a long time ago. I'll tell you about that compressor maybe a little later, but for right now, let's get right into it. All right, to start things off, you can see that bench is not very clean. Just start putting everything away where it's supposed to go, little by little. That is a double flare tool that I had to purchase because I snapped one of my brake lines on my F250 while I was doing my brakes. Here you can see the mess. It just kind of spreads across the entire garage. About half of that's mine, the other half's other people's. Empty boxes, those are the plates for their compressor that I had to get machined. They're pretty fun little deals. I got that's my little vacuum pump right there that I was using for braking, for brake fluid, and to swap out my liquid in my, power steering pump. I decided that top drawer right there was going to be my electrical drawer. So far that's worked alright. Garbage, 22 shells. Stupid Chilton book. Don't buy a Chilton book, always get a Hayes. The Haynes books are just so much better, it's not even funny. So there you see some paracord that I bought that probably 6 or 7 years ago. These are some pliers that sat in the back of my truck toolbox for a long time, and if you get some more rusty pliers like that, all you really got to do is just work it for a long time. That took me like 20 minutes, a little faster in here, but just spray some WD-40 on it and keep working it until it gets nice and loose. Work after you get it all clean. Sometimes at work we've got pliers that we use all day, and we'll swap. And after you get it all done with the WD-40, you spray some graphite lube in there and stuff in the can, and it works. That works really well. Keeps it going for a while as long as you don't let it get rusty. There's another pair that was kind of giving me trouble too. Chucked them in my tool bag because by clean up, really, I just mean throw the garbage away and clean up the stuff that goes right in that immediate area. All my tool bags over there I didn't really feel like dealing with, so I didn't. This is I got this as a Christmas present when I was probably like 14. It's a little, it's like a tool holder for soldering. It allows you to hold the wire and the soldering wire and the electronics or whatever. It's got little clips on either end. I took it apart probably 6 or 7 years ago and never quite got around to putting it back together until now. And there's good old me not working in the frame. That pen sucks, but it writes, so we'll keep it. I got it to stay stuck out, and that if I remember right, I won't accidentally unclick it. That was some junk. That was the junk that was in the air compressor. It's just like greasy dirt. It's the nastiest stuff in the world. Here I am reassembling my gauge, my whatever it's called, gauge. I'm bad with names. As soon as I start talking, I'm bad with them. Those are finger valves for the air compressor, the old ones. I was just showing you how nasty dirty they were. There's the part of the top ring for the low pressure cylinder on the compressor. I was taking the compressor out, or I was trying to put it back in, but it was rusted out of shape, like it was rusted solid, so it wouldn't move. And it broke when I was trying to take it out, so I had to put a new one in. There's some more bits of that. That's the bolt that holds the main pulley on for the air compressor head. And I will be looking. It took me forever to find the bolt for that. Well, the nut rather. The nut I couldn't find. I drop stuff all the time. These little plastic containers. That one you can't hardly see it because it's going so fast. But you cut a little hole in the corner and you can use it as a funnel, real cheap and easy. And you got tons of stuff like that just laying around. So that's what I use that for. Here I'm going to show you my pretty cool little That's the top. That's not the top. I opened that thing up upside down so many times that holds my larger drills, and that's out of pain. It's a drill set I got on in a like a machinery yard sale, basically, for pretty cheap. About half of what it would have cost me, and only about 3 of the drills had actually even been used. I thought most of this grime was going to come off, and well, it didn't. So I don't know. This is a rental that I'm in right now, so I'll probably have to. I'm thinking I'll probably end up just putting a new top on. I've got a big old sheet of 4x8 MDF that I use for whenever I need a bigger table in my house. So maybe I'll cut it up and put a new top on it before we move out, and hopefully they won't notice. I'm using a razor blade that took me like 20 minutes to find to just scrape the gunk off. What's weird though is there's like plaster on the top of the table, so I think maybe the last people that were in there used it pretty good too, and all they did was put a new fresh coat of plaster on it. My bearing puller set. Surprising how many times I've needed that already in my projects. That's my old slave cylinder that was in my Ranger, my Ford Ranger. The clutch was having problems, and so I replaced the slave cylinder and the whole clutch assembly while I'm down there, because the slave cylinder is actually inside of the transmission. And let me tell you, it was that a pain. I watched the YouTube videos. The YouTube videos were all like, oh yeah, it took them like 20 minutes, maybe an hour. No, it took me 16 hours. And O'Reilly's gave me the wrong part. And I was working on it at my parents' house, which is about an hour drive away, and they live in a small town. And let me tell you, I got to Napa Auto Parts 5 minutes before they closed, and they had the right part, luckily. So that saved my butt, because I was working on that on the weekend. And otherwise, I would have been taking Monday off of work, because there wasn't any time left to work on it. So I got finished. I started on that thing at about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning and didn't get done till midnight. Something like that. I think the story gets longer every time I do it, but there I am, just still cleaning all that gunk. Just massive amounts of gunk everywhere. That's what happens when this compressor has been sitting on here. This is really where I started opening it up, was when we moved over to this rental. We've only been here about 3 months now, and oh my gosh, it's just absolutely disgusting inside of this thing. But I cleaned it up, and it's working pretty good now. You'll see in the next video. I've got it because I worked on it, and then I made the videos, or editing the videos. So that was some smooth bar that I got from work, because I work for a company called Harris Rebar, and every now and then I get if I need something, I ask my manager, and if I can use it. And luckily, little cutoffs like that aren't worth anything to them, so I can get a couple pieces every now and then whenever I need it for odd projects. Look at that, brand new. Used the inside dustpan and went and cleaned it off and got all the oil off pretty quick and easy. Well, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. The next video will be showing off my work on the air compressor and how far I got in one day. I mean, one day of assembling. I've been working on the thing for like months. Months and months and months and months. Have a good one. Like and subscribe.